manifesting with our cycle. And this is a conversation Jen and I have a lot because we talk a lot about manifestation. We talk a lot about syncing with our cycles, which is the whole purpose behind planning by design, because we really know that as women, we do things so differently to men, and women have to break out of that cycle of doing things in the energy of the masculine and bring in that feminine energy. And so, as I bring Jen on, I want to talk a little bit about why we manifest with our period, why we manifest with our cycles. Hey, Jen.
Hello. Yes, this is such a powerful topic to
Such
talk
a
about.
powerful topic.
Yeah.
And as women, we've never been taught really about our cycles. I'm in my 40s. I'm just really understanding and learning that my husband has a totally different energetic cycle to me than what I do. And I've always felt like, oh, during my period, like I can't rest, I can't do this, I have to keep going, I have to keep pushing, I have to keep hustling. We just kind of hide this fact that we go through this bleed once a month, when really this is such a powerful part of our lives to not only invest in and learn about, but to really sync our cycle with so that we can manifest, create, attract, sell, rest, realign, all of those things at the right time for us, not because some business coach or some man is telling us when we should be doing it.
Yeah. And I think one huge powerful piece for me has been looking forward and planning with my cycle to really say, okay, I'm going to start my period this day. I need to have the day off, right? Let me give myself one day off a month and go from there, right? To just rest, to have nothing to do. And that, especially as a non-sacral, has been a huge challenge. But when I allow myself to do it, the magic that comes is amazing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And we've been running Planning by Design, and we started this over a year ago now, and almost over a year ago, or in the month of a year ago.
Yeah, I think June last year was our first month. So it has been a full year.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. And, Jen and I started it because we knew there was something behind this theme of planning around our cycles. And Jen and I also knew that it wasn't just our period cycle, it wasn't just our human design energy cycle. There was multiple cycles that we wanted to bring into this program because we're affected by so many energies from outside of us, including other people's energies. And we have to learn how to manage those, release them, align to them so that we can create in just the most positive, exciting way for us individually.
Right. And I think a huge part, right, is giving ourselves permission that we have these cycles because I certainly grew up, you have your period, tough shit. Essentially, you still need to show up. You are still responsible for this. No, you can't lay down or relax. Oh, I have terrible cramps. Take something for it. No, how about I just lay down and take the day off, and in 5 days, I can return.
Exactly. And one of the things that I want to mention too is like my cycle is very different. I don't experience really terrible cramps. Do I get tired or need to rest? Yes. Like typically during my cycle, I need to be in bed by like 8 or 9 at night, or I cannot function for those like 5 days that I'm bleeding. And that's really important. But I don't suffer from some of the pain that other women suffer from. So I can only imagine that each one of us has to honor our cycle and trust and know that this is our body and how we are designed to show up and be present. And so, how can we best manage that? And how can we best support ourselves during this time so that when we come out of having our period and we are in phases of like planning and being magnetic and selling because we're in different phases, that we can actually do that effectively because we've taken the time to rest. Because otherwise, we're just in constant burnout, which obviously leads to so many other problems in our lives.
Yeah, and what has really helped me have permission to allow for that rest during my bleed phase is knowing that when I'm ovulating, right, on the opposite 2 weeks later, right, the opposite of your cycle, I am go, go, go. That is where I am creating. That is where I have full energy. That is where I can do a lot, right? I get things done. So planning my month to have 5 days to rest. It's literally in my calendar, light, right? I've been doing this for, gosh, like 5 years. Honoring that period to have it light and seeing how it syncs up with the moon and everything like that, right? How these cycles all fit together. But with planning by design and our amazing worksheets to really see, okay, what can I do during ovulation, during my period, during my menstruation phase, right? To see, okay, these are the things I want to do, but I don't have the energy. How can I put them on a to-do list on the back burner so that when my energy returns as I get closer to ovulation, that's when I have all the energy to get all of this done and really be in my projector success.
Yes, yes. And planning can feel very overwhelming to people at times, right? Especially if you don't have a good system or you're not really sure, you haven't had to do it before, or you're just always overwhelmed. And this is where, especially if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, like an online coach, having these plans in place is just huge. And it will shift how you are actually able to show up and be magnetic during that time of ovulation when you are meant to be out there selling. And so some of the tools that Jen and I use, one of these is not ours personally. It's a product that we purchased, but it's the Magic of iJournal, and it has really great resources in it for tracking. Yeah, the same one for tracking your cycle and your period, because it tells you all about the moon cycle, your period cycle, and you can put it all in your little journal and write information down. But then on top of that, Jen and I also created one of our own worksheets, which is so valuable because it tells you in each different phase that you're in, which I'm in different phases to Jen because our periods are not synced up, right? That what I should be doing in my business in those different phases. And rest doesn't necessarily mean just like doing nothing, but what it does mean is that working in a different capacity, right? So popping your feet up, laying down on the couch, taking a nap, but maybe you're making space and opening yourself up to receive a really cool business idea or a download or a content creation idea or a connection, or, there's almost like things that happen behind the scenes during this time that just don't mean showing up live or showing up in your stories or showing up in ways that make you feel drained. And that's what's so beautiful about this is with syncing our cycles, we're getting out of that societal pressure of like women have to be men and show up as men. And instead, we're embracing our femininity and really showing up in our power when it's fully aligned to do so.
Yeah, and another resource that I love that we have inside of Planning by Design is when we had the nutrition expert come in and talk about how
Yes.
to eat with your cycle to fuel your body. And like that, if you can really plan in those ways, like we're really giving you the information to first off grow the awareness and understand your body, understand your cycles, right? A lot of this I've been doing for over 5 years, so this is not something that you're like, let me notice this and next month I'll be good, right? That's why we've had members inside Planning by Design this whole year who are really seeing some big external transformations right now and finding the ease in planning. But that pop-up that we had was really, really great. And I know that all the women inside Planning by Design got a lot of great info on things to do, things not to do, little shifts so that we can be more in alignment, right? More in our full power as women.
Yeah. And like, if we really want to talk about like business and why we do this for business, is that we're optimizing when we have energy and we're optimizing when we're at rest. And that's what's really great because I think oftentimes as women, we feel shame or guilt or whatever for taking that time to rest because this needs to get done and that needs to get done. And there's so much pressure, especially as a business owner, to do all the things. Like, let's be real, we wear many hats as a solopreneur, right? When we're in it by ourselves, we're the videographers, we're the content creations, we're the customer service, we are the salesperson. I mean, we're all of these pieces. And so when we can understand that, okay, my content creation hat goes on during my planning phase, right? And my selling, when I really sell or launch or show up in my stories or really like in the DMs to talk to people, that's going to be during a different phase of my period. But when I'm resting, I'm getting all these fabulous ideas to implement at a later time. And that's where it comes back to what Jen was talking about planning your month around that so that you know when that's going to be coming and you're ready for it and prepared for it and not feeling like you're constantly scrambling and wondering like, I'm not ready. I don't have the content. I don't have this, because then you're prepared for these different phases.
Yeah, and that's when you get to live in alignment. That's when it's easier to tap into your inner authority to know, is this right for me? Because you're not forcing it, right? You're not trying to show up as a man, as that bro marketing, all of the things that we are not as women, and especially as non-sacrals, right? 30% of the world doesn't have that consistent life force energy. So, how we navigate that and utilize the energy that we do have to be in alignment, to make sure when it's there, we're utilizing it, we've planned for it, and so that we can rest when we don't have that energy and really honor it.
Yeah, completely. And now during this talk, we've been talking a lot about like business and what to do in different phases and how we honor that. But really, a lot of what we're talking about is this manifestation period too, because when you manifest in the way that's aligned for you, we've done a lot of different series on manifestation where we're talking about our human design, where we're talking about the energy that we carry, we're talking about our arrows, and we're talking about the different energy cycles that come through us. But really, with your period and your cycle, the different phases align with your business as well. There's periods of rest and receive, right? There's periods of dreaming and planning and seeing, like calling in that future vision. And then there's times when you might magnetize and share or speak that aloud for the universe to hear and like bring to yourself. And then there's times when we might refine and kind of build on that visualization or build on that manifestation. And those times sync up with different times in our cycle, which is a beautiful piece for us to really concentrate on, especially when you can notice, where does my period cycle align with the moon, right? Because the moon also has a manifestation cycle as well. And by knowing these two and putting them together, that's when you get to optimize your feminine flow for manifestation versus what the outside world is telling you to do.
Right. For me, learning that my period starts with the full moon, I am releasing. Like that is a lot of purging from my body, right? Letting go. So I really need to reserve a few days, even, right before my period starts, the day or two before, while I have my period, right? Those few days to do all my full moon work, to purge, to let it go, and knowing right when it's coming, how to do all of that, and being an active manifester, which we'll talk about that next week with the arrows, because that comes from your arrows, right? I need to actively manifest. But during that full moon, during that bleed, part of my active manifesting is letting go of everything that's in the way, right? Everything that's not serving me. So when I get charged up with that ovulation phase, right, that's when I'm like actively doing the work that needs to be done to bring that to fruition. Usually, so by when I dip into the luteal phase, right, that last phase before your bleed starts, that's where things kind of like start to come together, or even get like a little bit funky, so that I can see, right, what's going on here, what is manifesting, what can I celebrate, or what am I not manifesting, and how can I go about it a different way, or what do I need to do to plan for, things like that.
Yes. And I think one of the biggest things for me with syncing my cycles is realizing that, oh, these things are coming up in this stage of my cycle for release, right? There's a lot of times, and sometimes you just like ignore or you push through it or you don't deal with it. And it's almost just like pushing that stuff under the carpet, which we know never goes well for anything, right? It's about processing this, it's about releasing it, it's about letting go so that when you get to that phase of being ready to magnetize and bring it in, you're ready for it. You have space for it. You've created the space and you've created the magnetism for it to just flow straight to you. And I think that's a beautiful piece too, because when we don't allow those negative thoughts or those pieces to come up and address them, then we're not making that space for anything new to come into our life. And so it's like you can either be in victim mode and constantly be complaining or being like, nothing's ever working out for me because of this and this and this, or you can actually actively release that, get rid of it, those limiting beliefs, the things that society has told you, that other people have told you that don't align with who you are, and make space for all this new, beautiful pieces to come in. But it is about the vibration, and it's about you harnessing that vibration and bringing it into yourself. And you can't do that if you're not in your cycle flow. And that's what's so important about syncing these cycles and understanding them so that you can know when this comes up that it's just some sort of outside energy showing you a beautiful, shining a beautiful light on that shadow that is time to get rid of.
Yeah, and I know for some people this can all sound really overwhelming, right? To be
Sure.
aware of all of this, to put it into action. And that's exactly why we have planning by design, so that you can look at what's coming through the month, right? We have our goal setting call tomorrow, so we would love for you to join us. We have pop-ups like that nutrition one that builds upon the worksheets, the things that we teach inside planning by design, and then our support call, right? To see, where are you struggling? What do you need to come together? What might you need help with or accountability with? So, and of course, we have so many more resources, right? We have a whole video vault filled with amazing, amazing video recordings. So, join Planning by Design, especially for tomorrow's goal setting call for the month of June, for the rest of Gemini season into Cancer season, right? There's so much going on um, for us this month. So we would love to have you inside Planning by Design to join us and be aware of your cycles, utilize them, manifest, and really embody all this information that we share.
Yeah, and it is about the embodiment, right? You can sit here and talk to you blue in the face all day about what you should be doing. As much as I don't love using the word should, there's a lot of things that if we're not in alignment, the shift doesn't happen. And that's what Jen and I are here. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to give you the tools and resources and then support you through that transition. So many of the women in Planning by Design just are constantly like releasing. And they're just like, wow, this has been something I've held on to for a long time because I didn't realize I could actually let go of it and allow space for new things to come in. And I think that's the biggest part is that, again, Jen and I are teaching and helping you understand you're syncing these cycles, but we're not telling you exactly what you need to be doing because a part of it is you understanding it and embodying it and then taking those next action steps of actually allowing it to drop away.
Yeah, and the more in-depth stuff is what we do inside one-on-one coaching, right? So you can always book a call with myself, with Mistral, to really dive deeper into what you might need to do. But inside Planning by Design, you have support of our amazing community. You have all the resources, the worksheets, the video recordings. You have our Telegram group to drop questions to get feedback from everyone. And it's only $89 a month. Like, it's awesome.
Bargain.
Yeah.
Best bargain out there. So we're
Yes.
going to sign off for today, but you can catch us in Planning by Design tomorrow. It's our goal setting and intention call, and the rest of the month, of course. But we will be live next week to talk about your arrows in human design and how to manifest, whether you're active or passive. So be sure to grab your human design chart and sign up for that live next week. But join Planning by Design so we can help you dive deeper into all of these cycles and understand how to optimize, utilize, and best create so that you can really stop acting like a man and start really understanding your flow and maximize it to create in the way that you're meant to.
This is cyclical power.
This is cyclical power.
Love
I
it.
love it.
See
Bye.